Hi everyone, outdoorsman Gary Heydrich for Fishing Chums Fishing Report for the third week of July. Can you believe it's the third week of July already? Wow. We're out here with my good friend Catfish Rick Ellis, and we've been bluegill fishing. Boy, we've been catching a lot of bluegill at Table Rock this last few days. In fact, earlier in the week, Brandon, my buddy, and Catfish and I caught a ton of bluegill. Catfish and I are back out here today and caught another big old mess, a nice hand-size plus bluegill. Okay, Catfish, open up the door and I'll see if I can. I never miss, do I? And I throw that right into the live well. Well, if you want to have fun this weekend, folks, and catch a lot of fish, get the kids, get a buddy that needs to go fishing and get some worms. And the bluegill fishing is excellent. I can't say no more than that. It's excellent, maybe super excellent. Table Rock's providing a lot of bluegill fishing. And something that I got onto the other day, we stopped in at the Ozark Thunder Marine bait shop there at Kimberlin City. And we were going to pick up some night crawlers, and Gina said, hey, why don't you try these Belgium worms? And I've never tried Belgium worms, so I said, well, what is that? So she showed me. It's like a night crawler, but smaller. And boy, the bluegill love them. They love those Belgium worms. And so we've been using worms just on a small hook, split shot up above it, catching a lot of fish. Now right now, Catfish and I are on a hilltop, a sunken hilltop. It's surrounded by 60, 70, 80 feet of water, but it comes up to about 10 foot. And there's just about a size of a quarter of a football field on the top of this thing. And we've been drifting and casting those Belgian worms, and the bluegill have just been eating them up. Boy, a lot of fun. Use 4-pound test, getting those big old bluegill bigger in your hand. Whew, can't beat it. So if you want to do this weekend, get your kids or a fishing friend out that needs to catch some fish. You can go to bluff ends. You can go to long gravel rocky points and get in about 6, 8, 10 foot of water. Get those worms down there and you're going to catch them. It's just excellent right now. Okay, let's talk a little bit about bass fishing here on Table Rock. This last week, there's been a little better bite on topwater on pop-Rs. I love to pop-R fish, and that has been a little bit better, so always have an extra rod and reel hooked up with a pop-R. You never know when a little school might pop up and chase shad. You can catch a fish or two out of them, maybe. So up to James, had a couple buddies out there the other day, and they picked several bass up using buzz baits in the early morning hours. And that's the key to the topwater fishing at Table Rock right now. Get up early. You need to do that anyway because of this extreme heat. Get up early. Get out here at daybreak. Do some pop-R fishing. Do some buzz bait fishing, whopper whoppers, and maybe catch a few topwater fish. And then when it gets warm, starting to warm up a little bit, maybe 9 o'clock, get out and get on those points and those secondary points. Get out there in about 25, 35 feet of water and use your drop shots with little plastic worms with it, or Ned rigging. You're going to catch some bass. They may not be big, but you'll have some action. And football style jigs have been working, pitching it up in some of that new brush. The lake is still up about 3.5, 4 foot. And by the way, the water temperature out here this morning when Catfish and I started, 89 degrees. Woo, is it ever warming up? And I imagine before we leave here this morning, it's probably going to be 91 or 92. So that water temperature really jumped up there the last few days. And so get out, bring plenty of water, fish till about 10, 11 o'clock, then get off the water. That's the best thing I can tell you. And a few crappie being caught up in the James, the upper James, around some of the deep water docks. I do want to brighten this up. They've been getting out early in the morning and throwing out jigs, letting it drop, or jigging minnows. And also in the Cape Fear area around some of the brush piles, they're still picking up some crappie by vertically fishing in about 18 feet of water. A jig and minnow or a minnow, and they've been picking up some nice crappie doing this. And by the way, they're up in the Baxter area. I've heard of some nice walleye being caught by trollers trolling some of the points. So if you want to try trolling in the morning hours, you might pick up a wonderful dinner, big old walleye. All right, you know, we're doing the show on Friday morning. Now, they're supposed to be taking water, those old cars that got washed up during the flood out of Lake Taneycomo. They've been saying this on and off for the last, I don't know, week or so, but I think they've actually doing it today. and so the lake is, Taneycomo has been drawn down. But this weekend it ought to be good. And what I'd recommend, fishing from Monkey Island, drifting from Monkey Island all the way down to the bridges. And I tell you what, the landing area, past the landing, has been picking up some fish too. And I still believe in that orange Berkeley Power eggs. Put 2 Berkeley Power eggs, orange, on one hook. Put a split shot, maybe about 8 inches up above it. That's all you need to do. And pitch that out and just drift slow, and you will catch trout. Also, they've been picking up some fish on night crawlers. All right, a quick trip over to Bull Shoals. That lake is still about 28 feet above normal pool, and the fishing has been fair in the early morning hours. Some of the boys have been going out and topwater fishing. They've been buzz baiting, using some spooks. Baby spooks been working a little bit better, and some pop-Rs. And then when that sun gets up there a little bit, they've been moving out and doing some drop shot fishing on Bull Shoals and about 35 feet of water. And they've been using some Ned rigs as well and flipping some jigs. By the way, a few crappie have been caught at Bull Shoals around some of the deep water docks. You may want to try this jigging, or maybe throwing some minnows up there in the shade. One other report we've had, somebody asked about Truman. Catching a lot of crappie over at Truman Lake, up in Truman. A lot of small fish, but you can catch some big ones too. The bite's been pretty good up there at Truman. That's about it for the day. We want to thank you for being with us. We've had a great time out here on Table Rock this morning, and it's getting hot. We're about ready to go to the house and put those bluegill in Lake Crisco. Boy, is that going to be good eating. Hey, if you like our show, be sure to subscribe. Push that button. It's free. And share. Like and share. We really appreciate that. And if you have a photo or any information you'd like to send us, go to fishinchums@gmail.com. All right, that's it. That's a wrap. Happy outdoors, everyone.